Welcome to Trending Faith here on GCU TV. My name is Ashley Romantic, and let's get started with our question. I see that GCU is considered interdenominational. What does that mean? Is it the same as non-denominational? What do you think, Jason?
Yeah, there are a couple words that we're going to probably need to parse out a little to make sense of this. Simplistically speaking, you could say that interdenominational and non-denominational are roughly the same thing. Just thinking in terms of what the words themselves mean, you might be able to nuance it a little further. So non-denominational suggests that there's no connection to a denomination. There's no affiliation. It's kind of negative. We're cut off. We're separate. And in some cases, groups who have described themselves as non-denominational eventually begin to function like a denomination. So it's sort of a misleading term in some cases. Interdenominational sounds quite a bit more positive. Now we're cross denominations or within denominations. We're active. We're crossing lines, historical traditions, and so forth. Baptist, Presbyterians, Methodists, on down the line. Multiple denominations, multiple traditions. Even those traditions that would describe themselves as non-denominational. Interestingly, sometimes people ask me if GCU is interfaith, which is a very different thing, as in Christian, Muslim, Jewish, interfaith. That's a very different conversation. We're definitely not. Our doctrinal statement is clearly Christian, and we lean into the broadly evangelical space quite a bit, though we're certainly open to really anyone willing to affirm those historical doctrines that we capture in our doctrinal statement. It's a fantastic place to work because we're in such a good position to really interact with and engage with and really partner with people who affirm the same sorts of things that Christians have affirmed for roughly 1,500 years now, since the Council of Nicaea. And that's just encouraging. If we have Christ in common, why do we spend so much time fighting? And I think the answer to that is a little more interdenominational than sectarian. Having said that, I would say this, that many churches, when they have existed for a while, if they are interdenominational or non-denominational, find a lot of value in meeting and connecting with other churches. So often groups that are not specifically calling themselves Baptist, Methodist, what have you, still find a need to train up their own pastors, to educate their people, to cooperate for the sake of missions and so forth. So, at the end of the day, interdenominational, non-denominational, a lot of Christians are about the same sort of kingdom work and the same sort of kingdom purposes. And it's interesting that we tend to gravitate toward people of like-minded faith, and we need to. So it can be encouraging, no matter what we call it.
It's been interesting over the years that I've been a believer to watch the Christian community struggle with how to get along. We find ourselves in these different camps. We've talked about this in another episode, I think, but this idea of how to create unity and how to participate together. And it's always easy for us to find reasons not to. And it really takes a real commitment to find ways and reasons to participate together. So I really appreciate it. That was a great definition. I've never heard really anybody talk about the differences between those two words. And so that was well done. I really liked the fact that you focused on the positive nature of interdenominational. And it seems to really support that idea of God's people trying to figure out how to work together, how to fellowship together, how to serve together, how to love each other. And I think that's important in the heart of God. That was a core teaching of Jesus. And so, we're all a little bit different. It's easy for us to find our differences, but to find what we have in common and focus on that is just really important. So to your point about GCU being a place where we can experience kind of an interdenominational Christian faith experience is really true. Our chapels and Bible studies are made up of people from all stripes of Christendom, and it's a really cool thing to see and to participate in. And at the same time, you can walk across campus and see people from other faiths that also feel at home at GCU, and the opportunity to express brotherly love to whomever makes up the student body is a wonderful opportunity that we have here. So.
Well, I hope that answers your question, and as always, if you have a question or a comment, please feel free to send it to us at trendingfaith@gcu.edu or use the hashtag trendingfaith.